It is used for benchmarking tool. They used to measure network performance for both wire and wireless. It is a simple tool that employs bulk data transfer using three-layer protocols, TCP and UDP. Network performance is reported in terms of throughout that throughput, that is bits or bytes per second. In order to test and troubleshoot networks, we need tools that allow us to generate network traffic and analyze the network's throughput performance. This is true for both wired and wireless network. NetStress has an advantage data over tools like FTP, like a file transfer protocol, which transfers data to and from disk. If you have high performance network, then using FTP may be insufficient for real work testing. And NetStress achieves high performance testing by filling buffers and memory with data, then repeatedly transmitting this data using the TCP and or UDP protocol. Since everything is running from memory, then we have a traffic transmitter and receiver that can operate a true network speeds by performing tests using different machine on the network. Then you begin to gain clues as to where the problem lies and which areas should be examined in greater detail. Which features of the network's net stress testing tool. Single instance of application is the first features of the net stress. In this feature, we are example like each instance can be used as receiver or receiver plus transmitter. NetStress follows a transmitter or receiver model. In the previous version, a user would launch an instance of the transmitter on one machine and an instance of the receiver on another machine. In this, they are saying that a NetStress it follows that a transmitter or receiver it has both. In another machine, one machine will receive the transmitter and one machine will receive the receiver. When you launch NetStress, you will see the charts have been separated as transmitter and receiver. When the built-in receivers receives transmission from a transmitter, then the results are displayed in the receiver charts. And when NetStress is transmitting, then the results are displayed in the transmitter charts. Second feature is TCP and or UDP plus multiple data streams. Which supports TCP transmission, UDP transmission, or both. Furthermore, you can specify from 0 to 8 data stream for each protocol. These are configured using setting dialog. In addition, the time course results are broken down accordingly. Like there are three types. In total, the chart labeled time course total shows the total throughput, both TCP and plus UDP. And second one, TCP alone, total of all the TCP data streams. And third one, UDP alone, total of all the UDP data streams. TCP, the chart labeled time course. TCP shows the throughput result for each of the TCP data streams. UDP, the chart labeled time courses, shows the throughput result for each of the UDP data streams. In this there is the TCP and UDP both will be in one particular chart, and TCP alone in one particular chart, and UDP alone in one particular chart. In the TCP, it will shows one result of throughput, and UDP it will shows another result of throughput. The default setting is to set throughput performance using a single TCP data stream. This is the most common scenario. Packet size supports TCP and UDP packet sizes. In this they are using packet sizes. In that packet size, it will support both TCP and UDP packet size. Using setting dialog, we can configure the configure the packet size, both the TCP and UDP data streams. It will turns out this can have a dramatic effect on the throughput. In this packet size, they are telling that both TCP and UDP will be configuring in the same packets, and TCP and UDP will be data streams, and it will turns out this and it will have a dramatic effect on your throughput. Rate of packet transmission. Supports packets per second PPS throttle for the transmission side. Using the setting dialog, you can configure transmission side. Using the setting dialog, you can configure packet size per second for both TCP and UDP data streams. This is useful in emulating voice and other timed application. In this, the rate of packet transmission supports packets per second throttle, which is in the transmission side. Using the settings configuration, packets per second for both TCP and UDP will be in UDP data streams. It will be useful in emulating voice and timed applications. Auto node discovery. This is another feature of the netstress. Each instance of netstress sends periodic beacons that are used to notify other instance of netstress that a new receiver is available. This makes it much simpler and less error prone when selecting a remote node. In this auto discovery for net stress, it will have for net stress, each instance send a periodic beacons which to identify the other instance of net stress. A new receiver will always be available, which will make simpler and less error for selecting a remote node. It is called a auto node discovery. It is also one of the useful feature in the net stress, and it will make easier the works. Another one is display units. In the display units, they are using the setting dialog. You can configure the which units net stress should use when displaying the data. Like when we are displaying the units, we want to use net stress KB bytes per second, K bits per second, megabyte per second, or M bits per second, which will support the both transfer and receiver at a time. Support for multiple network adapters. When netstress is launched, a dialog entitled Select Network Interface appears on one or more local IP. Hmm, More local IP addresses will appear depending on the number of network interfaces adapter installed on the particular machine. Select from the available network interfaces for your current network session. For our current network net stress session, we want to launch a network interface like a local host, which appear in the local IP address. It will appear. Depending on the number of network or interface adapter installed on the particular machine, it will be calculated according to the net